Formula One as we know it is officially dead, and the drama that has just exploded in the paddock has teams threatening to take the FIA to court before we even reach the first race in Australia. Welcome back to the channel, where today we are diving into the absolute chaos that has erupted following the Barcelona Shakedown. If you thought the 2026 regulations were just about sustainable fuels and active aero, you were wrong. We are currently witnessing a full-scale civil war between Toto Wolff and the rest of the grid over what is being called the greatest technical heist in the history of the sport. The headline everyone is talking about today involves a massive engine loophole that Mercedes and Red Bull Ford have reportedly exploited. This isn't just a minor gain. We are talking about a thermal expansion trick in the compression ratio that could be worth up to 0.3 of a second per lap. Rules stipulate a 16:1 compression ratio limit, but here is the catch: it is only measured when the engine is cold. Rivals like Ferrari, Audi, and Honda are absolutely furious because they believe Mercedes and Red Bull have engineered components that expand when hot, effectively jumping that ratio up to 18:1 during a race. Imagine the scene. Toto Wolff stood in front of the media today and literally told his rivals to get their act together and stop sending secret letters to the FIA. He called the accusations a distraction and insisted their power unit is 100% legal. But the tension is so thick you could cut it with a carbon fiber wing. While teams like Ferrari and the newcomers Cadillac are scrambling to understand how they missed this, Mercedes is already clocking insane mileage with a power unit that some are calling illegal by design. But the drama doesn't stop with the engines. We have to talk about Lewis Hamilton's debut in the Scarlet Red. The world stopped when Lewis posted the fastest time of the entire Barcelona week with a blistering 1:16.3. It was meant to be a celebration, but behind the scenes at Maranello, things are reaching a boiling point. There is a massive crisis regarding Hamilton's engineering team. His race engineer, Riccardo Adami, has been removed from the role for 2026, leaving Lewis without his primary voice on the radio just weeks before the season starts. Rumors are flying that this is an internal power struggle within Ferrari, and some are even suggesting Lewis is being sabotaged by the lack of stability. While he was all smiles after topping the timing sheets, the reality is that he spent his weekend in a secret meeting with Kim Kardashian at a luxury estate in the UK rather than in the simulator. The paparazzi are going wild. The F1 purists are asking if Lewis is focused enough to take on a rampant George Russell, who is currently the favorite to win the title. While the big teams fight, a heartbreaking story is developing at Alpine. Franco Colapinto, the man who carried the hopes of Argentina onto the grid, is suddenly facing a sponsorship nightmare. Reports just coming in suggest his primary backers are pulling out just weeks before the season opener. This puts his seat at immediate risk. In a sport where money talks, Alpine is looking at a massive financial hole, and the paddock is buzzing with names who could replace him if the funding doesn't materialize. It's a brutal reminder of how quickly the F1 dream can turn into a nightmare, especially when the team is already struggling with their new Mercedes customer engines. Let's look at the actual cars, because they look and behave like nothing we've ever seen. We have moved away from the low, ground effect cars of last year and back to high-rake designs inspired by the return of Adrian Newey's genius at Aston Martin. Newey has caused a total culture shock at his new team, demanding radical changes to the AMR26 that have left engineers stunned. His new car features an on-a-teen nose and extreme drag reduction shapes that look nothing like the rest of the grid. But there's a catch. Drivers like Kimi Antonelli and Max Verstappen have already pointed out a simulator anomaly. The active aerodynamics, those moving wings that flip between high downforce and low drag modes, are making the cars incredibly unpredictable. Verstappen has already spotted a potential flaw in the Red Bull Ford integration that could see the car lose stability at the exact moment the aero switches. If the world champion is worried, every Red Bull fan should be sweating. The 2026 era was promised to bring the grid closer together, but the Barcelona data suggests the opposite. Mercedes racked up over 500 laps with the precision of a Swiss watch, while teams like Audi and Haas are struggling to even complete a race simulation without the new sustainable fuels, causing thermal choking in the engines. Audi is currently nearly 4 seconds off the pace, an embarrassing start for a major manufacturer. This isn't just a sport anymore, it's a laboratory where the stakes are billions of dollars. We are seeing a divide where the engine manufacturers like Mercedes and Red Bull, Ford are moving into a different league, compared to the customer teams who are left fighting for scraps. Adding fuel to the fire, the FIA is in a corner. They've held emergency meetings to try and close the compression ratio loophole, but because the engines are already being built for the first race, they might be powerless to stop it without a unanimous vote, which Mercedes and Red Bull will obviously block. This means we could be heading into a season where the championship is decided by a legal technicality before the lights even go out in Melbourne. Toto Wolff is laughing rivals to focus on their own cars, while Fred Vasseur at Ferrari is facing a mutiny over the Hamilton engineer situation. So, where does this leave us? We have a world champion in Lando Norris, who says he's ready for the title defense, but he's driving a McLaren that is facing its own reliability gremlins. We have Max Verstappen entering a new era with a brand new engine partner in Ford. We have Lewis Hamilton trying to prove that his move to Ferrari wasn't a career-ending mistake despite the chaos in his garage. The drama, the secret letters, the engine loopholes, and the celebrity scandals have created a perfect storm. The grid is more divided than ever, the technical rules are being pushed to the breaking point. The fans are left wondering if we are about to see another era of one-team dominance or the most wide-open season in history. One thing is for sure, the civilized world of Formula One has vanished, replaced by a high-stakes war of words and engineering. Stay tuned, because this is only the beginning of the 2026 explosion.